Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to C6, episode 53, overall 328 of Live with CDP Sports Talk, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Gulf Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycullen.com as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk is on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM, the home of Southern talk in sports in the Metro Atlanta area. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Live with CDP on this Monday, October 30th. 2023. That's hard to believe. And I'm looking forward to my guest tonight. This is his second appearance, and his name is Pat Bernard. He's a reporter with the Edge of Philly Sports. He's also a podcast host, and he's covered for the last 6+ years Philadelphia sports, such as the Philadelphia Eagles, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Philadelphia Sixers, the Philadelphia Wings of the National Lacrosse League, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Major League Soccer League's Philadelphia Union. And right now, this is a busy time of the year for us sports fans, and I'm looking forward to bringing Pat on right now. Hi, Pat. How you doing?
What's up, Chris? What's going on, buddy?
Not much. I was saying it's a great time of the year for sports, and I was reading up on something today. This is the only day of the year where all the major 4 sports are going on at the same time tonight.
Yeah. If you were a sports nut, if you were a 4 for 4, 5 for 5, whatever, this is Christmas for us. This is Christmas. October is Christmas for us. The 2 busiest months of the whole year are October and April. I mean, you of course, April, you got the NFL draft, you have NBA and NHL playoffs, MLB seasons getting started, MLS seasons getting started, you got NL playoffs getting about to get, like I said, it's tons of fun. And like I said, here in October, it's always busy. So, it's a great time of the year.
Hey, and I've got 3 favorite football teams right now. The Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts, 16-2. 16-2. The Eagles are 7-1, and then the Michigan Wolverines are 7-0. So, as a football fan right now, I'm very spoiled with the Wolverine, Eagles, and Argonauts right now.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, listen, you couldn't ask for a better situation than you're in now. You know, you have 3 football teams playing extremely well. For the Eagles, looking good. You know, sometimes I forget they're a 7-1 team the way they've been playing as of recently. But not so bad.
Absolutely. Hey, Patrick, we're going to get into a little baseball first and a little bit about the Philadelphia Phillies. What were your thoughts on this 2023 Philadelphia Phillies team, both in the regular season and postseason? They got off to a slow start. Obviously, they had injuries, and then they heated up in the second half. And then in the playoffs, they got off to such a hot start, and then they just ran into a buzzsaw in Arizona, unfortunately.
Chris, this is like a movie, right? You have your ups and downs, and that's exactly what the season was. Again, it started out very, very slow. You had Bryce Harper dealing with an injury. Bryce Harper playing with a new position at first base, and I gotta say, Bryce Harper did a phenomenal job to the point where Reese Hoskins, I don't think he's going to be coming back to that first base spot, or he's going to even come back at all. So. But you had that going on. You had a really, really good season from Nick Castellanos, especially in that first half. Greg Kimbrell had a really, really good first half as well. Both guys reached the All-Star game, looked really, really hot. As they start to cool down a little bit, you had a Trey Turner turnaround. And, just when he was down and out, instead of getting the boo birds, the fans here in Philadelphia came around and support this man just when he was down and out. and then he goes on a tear, and like I said, just kind of rejuvenated a lot of things. So Kyle Schwarber obviously doing his thing again. He led the league in strikeouts, but however, he did have and sensational again. Him, that's where he's most comfortable hitting is that that leadoff spot, and he was crushing balls as well. So and then again, he came through with Russ. Uh, Bryson Stott too had a very very big regular season year. No one saw that coming. Again, you were talking about somebody who had a big first half. He did have a very, very big first half. I believe it was 22 game hitting streak that he was on. So again, that helped the Phillies in a lot of ways. Uh, that I would say the gray area of the team was the pitching. And if you look at it, the majority of their losses, it would be the pitching staff would put this team in a hole. Sometimes it would be down 3 to 4 runs, and then you have to play catch up and so forth. There were nights where the Phillies battled back and won. There was other nights where the Phillies just could not play catch up with other teams. Then you had to look at there were some nights where this offense got cold, especially playing against the Mets, playing against the Braves, against divisional opponents where you didn't want that to happen. And but like I said, I was really really surprised they had a better year than they did last year. So that was really good. I thought, like I said, the pitching could have been better. But all overall, like I said, a little better than what they were last year. The way it ended for the postseason, uh, he again playing against the Marlins looked really really hot. Again, the team on fire, feeding off that home energy. That crowd was again. You will talk about the Seattle Seahawks having that 12th man decimal and all that other stuff. I think in baseball, there is nothing like the atmosphere at Cincinnati Bank Park in Red October. The crowd is alive. Everyone's just getting in from their vacation, and they are bloodthirsty for baseball in October, and they love it. You can see the rally towels. So, and it makes it really uncomfortable for opposing teams because, again, the players are the opposing players are right there underneath the fans, warming up, and the fans are sitting there hackling and all that stuff. So it becomes a very uncomfortable place to play. So and that you have that going on. Plus, the opposing pitcher would have to keep his head on the swivel because the Phillies would play an aggressive base stealing and aggressive base running, and where the pitching had to keep his head on the swivel to make sure the guy behind the guy wasn't trying to steal first, the second, the third. He had all that going on, plus trying to mute this crowd. And that's where the problem, they did a great job against the Marlins. The Braves, I thought, just they run this problem every year so far. Past 2 years, they kept, they stayed on top of the hill of the NL East. And then when it came to playing, when it was time to start playing MLB postseason baseball, they were nowhere to be found. This is 2 years. I'm sorry for the Braves fans that are maybe listening into the show, but it is what it is. I mean, they took a nap, and where the Phillies kept their foot on the throttle. Now, what happened here against this Diamondbacks team? Again, a lot of people kind of overlooked this Diamondbacks team. People forgot they went into Milwaukee, took care of the Brewers. They also went into LA, took care of the Dodgers, and for the first 2 games,
Swept them.
Right, swept them, took care of business, and then so the first 2 games, the Phillies looked really, really good. Again, they put up 10 runs in that second game. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a coast. However, you go out to the desert, you lose 2 back to back. Why? Because they have a bullpen that the Phillies never saw before. So we have a guy who is with us named Rock Hoffman who does beat reporting for the Phillies, and he said Nick Castellanos said that. Again, those arms, bullpen arms, they never saw before. They never saw pitching like that before. So they weren't used to their stuff. So again, they get the game 5, game 6. Aaron Nola, the clock strikes midnight on him, and he gets ice cold. And that's been Aaron Nola's problem pretty much throughout his whole career. You just don't know what Aaron Nola you're going to get. You're going to get this. You're going to get the Iceman or you're going to get Mr. Softy, and we don't know which one's going to come into play. There's been plenty of games where he's had lights out performances, shutouts, and then there's games, he gets that 4th inning, and then you're talking about putting yourself in a hole, forget it. And that's what kind of hurt the Phillies a lot this year. And, again, you want to talk about, is he going to be in the Phillies uniform for next year? Did the new play clock really fundamentally mentally mess around with his mind? We don't know. Because again, he spent a lot of time looking at that clock. So that could have been playing a big role in it. And then, of course, you get into, like I said, you're starting to face this hungry Arizona Diamondbacks team that was just smacking the cover off the ball. You have such a young core out there, and you got to remember this Arizona team has nothing to lose. Had nothing to lose heading into this postseason. And look, if they got knocked out in the NCS, so be it. Look, congratulations, they made it this far. But however, with you have nothing to lose, you're going to give it your best punch. And the Phillies were them last year. Phillies just
Yep.
got into that bonus wild card spot
Yep.
that they paid dividends on. So now, like I said, the Phillies being the NL champions of last year, they were the hunted. So again, the Phillies had to deal with a lot of aspiration, deal with a lot of adversity, and then again, Nola got cold in his last game. You had Ranger Suarez, come up the pitch, played okay, but again. The bats got cold, and I gotta be honest, and I'm sorry to disappoint a lot of Phillies fans out there, maybe listening, but I hold Bryce Harper to a lot of responsibility out there. Now there was a lot more than just him, but let's call it for what it is. That Game 7 really bothered me some because he got on. Again, he comes to the play with his approach, which was a very the opposing pitcher was throwing balls into the ground, which is an automatic walk, and he's swinging at this stuff inside and low. I'm like, I'm sitting at home, like looking at this, like, what are we doing here? This is automatic walk, and we're trying to hack at things. Why? I don't know. This is fundamental baseball. Nick Castellanos very very cold throughout the series. I think he was 0 for 22 with 11 strikeouts. Not good. You had Rob Thompson, the manager of the team. Again, Rojas looked like, this is, again, a kid who was just brought up this year. And he didn't take it, again, where it looked like it was, the moment was too big. You could read that through his eyes. And of course, bases are loaded. So Bryce, Topper, Rob Thompson doesn't, take him out. He leaves him in there in that situation. So that to me showed me that Topper doesn't really trust anyone in that dugout to come in and take that pitch hit, or he wanted to keep Rojas because Rojas has great defense. He could play, he could field, he could extend plays with his arms, and if he does get on base, he can extend plays. And, he's quick, he's fast, so he can steal bases and all those other things. But where he lacks is his inconsistency at the bat, and that's where he had huge problems. So you had that going on, and then again, Alec Bowman kind of like got things going for the Phillies. He had the home run, but his last at bat, had me head scratching. I mean, he was hacking at it, whatever. And again, fundamental baseball. Take the first swing. Take the first strikeout, and he didn't. He just was swinging at again, hacking things in the ground. I'm like, what? Like you just caused yourself to lose this game. And of course, eventually the Diamondbacks won on this turf. And then, as much as it's going to bother me, but hey, look, it is what it is. The Diamondbacks were the better team, and they are the better team.
One thing I wanted to bring up too was Philadelphia. It's always the Philly teams always to me always play better when they're the underdogs and not expected to win. And this year it was a kind of a role reversal with Arizona being the underdogs and the Phillies being favorites. But one thing too about the Phillies offense, it sort of reminded me of the Blue Jays offense. When their bats are going and they're hitting home runs, watch out. But when they're not hitting home runs, they don't know how to
Yes.
get on base or steal bases or manufacture runs. Do you feel next year in 2024 the Phillies should try to incorporate a little bit more small ball in their offense?
You know what? That's a great question. So I thought for sure, just like you were just explaining, like that was the Phillies. They did play tons of small ball, and like you said, once the ball got going, then the bats start to roll, and then just nonstop. But once they got ice cold, they were ice cold 1 through 9, and this is a Phillies team that battled teams 1 through 9. And again, the energy from the fans were there, but again, it was just not good enough. And then you start playing desperation baseball, and it was just like it just like I said, poor decisions at the plate, poor management at the plate. To me, in my opinion, like I said, Topper could have done some things, but to me, I don't think Topper really had, maybe in his mind that He trusted some guys come up the dugout. Maybe he didn't want to replace because, again, I just explained about Rojas in the field. Maybe he wanted that out there. But listen, the other guys got to make up ground there. And listen, just like a lot of Phillies fans were counting on getting to the World Series and making magic happen. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. And like you said, they weren't the underdog as much. That was the role of the Diamondbacks this year, and they were looked at for the team to beat. And once you knock off the best team in baseball, that's what happens. So, unfortunately, that's what happens with the Philadelphia teams around here.
Hey, being a Detroit Tiger fan, there is a connection with the Phillies, obviously, with Dave Dombrowski, Nick Castellanos, and Gregory Soda. I wanted to ask you about how Gregory Soda did in the bullpen for you guys this year. And what happened with Michael Lorenzen? He had a nice year with the Detroit Tigers, and I was upset they traded him to the Phillies. And then he pitched a no-hitter with you guys, and then I guess he struggled later most of the year.
Yeah, so to me, what happened was, again, Michael Lorenzo comes in here, his first game in the Phillies uniform, he has a perfect game, and I'm like,
Okay.
okay, yeah, I'm like, okay, we might have something here. But as the season went on, he started to get thumped on the hill, thumped to the point where Topper had to just bring him out of the bullpen. And because he was going to, you're not going to want to, for him, you're not going to want to replace Wheeler, Nola, Ranger Suarez, and then that if you got down to the fourth, it was going to be Christopher Sanchez or Taijuan Walker, which to me, Taijuan Walker had a mediocre year all year. I mean, there were some games he looked really good, but for me, for the most part, he was average. He was average, and Christopher Sanchez, I thought played okay. He could give you 3 to 4 innings, but he had no fastball in his repertoire. He only had curve, knuckles, and sinkers, and that play you could play a part for so well. But once again, these managers and hitting coaches get paid a lot of money to study you, and they're going to know what you're going to throw at them. So yeah, that wasn't good. So again, like I said, they took Topper, and they just like I said, Topper just took Michael Lorenzen and just shoved him to the back.
And overall, Gregory Soda, how did he do with you guys in your bullpen?
Greg Soda at first,
Yeah,
yes.
be honest.
Simon, yeah, be honest, I was all happy, and I'm not gonna lie. There was times that man caused me a lot of frustrations. I was very very frustrated because there was times when he got on the hill, I knew what was about to happen. Where one or two things, or it was going to be a hit or a home run going to happen for the opposite team, and it just drove me nuts. I didn't want to see him in a Phillies uniform. I was throwing things. Coming down to the tail end, he played a little bit better. He got a lot bit better with his locations and his pitching, and he got a little bit better with his commands. But then again, he kind of lost it. And then one of the games that the Phillies did lose, heading into the desert again, Topper was just again going through playing the bullpen game. He went through Soda, and then after that, he went through Kirkering. Kirkering is a kid who just again has only been with the team. It's only been in the pros for a month. And you go to him because of the small sample size that you had that will look good for a day. And then again, a moment got too big for that kid and he got thumped. So, but overall, Greg Soda, not good. If I had to give him a grade for the entire year, I'd probably have to give him a D plus.
He has a good arm, but it's just a matter of his location and being consistent. And to me, in the offseason, I don't know how Dave Dombrowski is going to go about it, but I would say the Phillies would need to address their bullpen. Would be one of their
Yes.
highest priority bullpen. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. The bullpen's going to have to be addressed come this off season. Again, they don't know what's going to go on with Nola, whether they haven't extended his contract, so I don't know if they're going to let him walk. But again, they're probably going to have to, more than likely, you're going to have to address that bullpen because it's been shaky. And it's the crazy part is for most of the year, the bullpen kind of kept things in context, especially like I said, Greg Kimbrell. But again, that second half, Greg Kimbrell was not the first half Greg Kimbrell that we got. Again, he was getting thumped on the hill from times. So again, this team has plus and has negatives. And like I said, I hope they're going to address the bullpen come off season time.
How old is Nola right now as a pitcher? What's his age? Do you know?
30.
30? Because I was going to say, if I was a GM, maybe Nola needs a change of scenery. And I
Yes.
know Toronto has a pitcher named Alex Manoah. Maybe it would be a good trade to send Nola to the Jays and get Alex Manoah because Manoah needs out of Toronto. He had a terrible year this year, and he's got the talent, but he has to put it in his head. But I don't know if the Phillies would look at making that kind of a trade. And overall, what do you think about the starting pitching going into 2024 with your club?
So that's the thing we kind of talked about on the Edge of Philly Sports PM and the AM show with me, Mike Laro. We kind of talked about the potentials. If he does walk, where would he go? And one of the most scariest places, and one of the places are notoriously known for their pitching, are the New York Mets and a Philly rival. So I don't know. That could be scary some because if Nola does get that change of scenery and finds himself out there, all you can say is yikes because the Mets already have a hitting guys who can hit. We all know about the Pole Bear. We all know about Pete Alonso. We all know about they got some cats out there who can Lindor. They know they got some cats that can hit the ball. So just adding some more to the arms for over there, yeah, that could be scary. So I can see them going with that. But yes, so the Phillies, if they let him walk, would it be? I imagine it's going to be Wheeler, Ranger Suarez, Walker. So the starting arms are not good enough. It would not be good enough. So to me, like I said, one of the major gray areas of the team was is starting pitching, and you're going to need to address that. And they thought they had that with Michael Lorenzen, and just like that, he went from starting pitching to the back of the bullpen. So yeah, I found the Phillies. You're gonna have to look for starting arms, and let's see. Look, and if you are, let's see what you get. For him, maybe you get like a little bit of a deal package. I don't know how much you would get for Reese Hoskins if there's a team out there, maybe like the Oakland A's, who are kind of looking for a little bit of a pop in their lineup. He can bring that. So we'll see what happens with that as well.
And you know what's funny? I know I'm a Tigers fan, but I live in the Toronto area. It's funny, the
Right.
Blue Jays this year had one of the best pitching staffs and bullpens out there, but they couldn't hit a lick. And they made one of the worst trades, I think, in baseball this past year, trading their number one prospect, Gabriel Moreno, and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. for Dalton Varsho, who's a good defensive outfielder. But I'll tell you this: if I was Ross Atkins of the Blue Jays, I would not have made that trade again.
No, no, and again, like you said, sometimes some of these GMs have you scratching your head, like what are we doing? Like, what's the direction? And and to me, like I kind of looked at and that was like one of the problems with the Mets. The Mets kind of did the same thing, like they packed it in back in June. I'm like, when they moved on from Escobar, I was just like, like, what are you guys doing? You got plenty of baseball left to go, and no, they put a big fat flea market for sale sign run their front door. I said, wow, just like that. So obviously they're planning for the future. But yeah, like you said, and I'm curious, like I said, going back to Dave Dombrowski, what is going to be his mindset moving forward? How can we get over this hump? Um, what are going to be the adjustments as far as the lineup? I think Reese Hoskins is going to not Reese Hoskins, pardon me. I think Bryce Harper is going to be your first baseman moving forward. I
Yep.
and what else do you do with the rest of the lineup? I'm pretty sure Castellanos will be out there in right field. You're gonna, Brandon Marsh will probably more than likely be your center fielder. Left, you're obviously going to rotate that. And that was another thing that irked me. They brought Jake Cave up here, who had one hit, and Jake Cave has been nothing but a disappointment. Like this guy was looking for one shine left. He played minor league baseball his whole career, got one shine up in the majors, and you get to see why he's just meant for the minors. He did not need to be in a Phillies uniform. Sorry, Jay Cave. I know you're a veteran player, but nah, we didn't need you in here. You kind of stunk. You stunk up the place.
Hey, being a Tigers fan as well, Dave Dombrowski was in Detroit for I think 10 years. Did a really good job getting the Tigers back to respectability, playoffs, two World Series appearance. But he couldn't win a World Series in Detroit with Miguel Cabrera. Justin
Oh,
Verlander, Max Scherzer, Rick Porcello, David Price. They had they had they had a great starting staff. They had Cabrera in his prime, and that's my only concern about Dombrowski in Philadelphia is when he left Detroit, their farm system was in shambles. And my concern, if I was a Phillies fan, is how is the farm system going to look? Because you still need to have a good farm system if you want to sustain being a winning team. Because getting free agents and making these big name trades is fine, but over the long term, you still need to have a farm system bringing up guys from the minors, in my
oh,
opinion.
absolutely. No, no, no. Chris, you're absolutely correct. I mean, again, this is he's wheeling and dealing and getting all the right free agents in here. And again, what do we really have coming up from the farm system? Where I mean, other okay, I'll say Rojas has been okay. Pache's been okay, but what else do we really have that just kind of whoa opens your eyes that really like lights you? And like I said, I get it. King Kirkring is very, very, very young. He had an okay, like I said, small sample size. Uh, I don't think you should even let him touch the postseason baseball. Again, you talk about you put a kid in the wrong situation. Again, the one game they lost to the Braves, they put him in against the meat of that Braves lineup, and I'm like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? Like, why feed him to the sharks when you let him swim with the goldfish first? Like, let him take care of the back end of that Braves lineup. You don't want to sit on and put him to the meat 1 through 4. I mean, that's where the sharks lie with the Braves. You don't want to do that. Like, so like I said, questionable decisions come from him, Topper. But yeah, I'll tell you what, Rob Thompson for the last 2 years, he's stubborn with his lineups. What he believes is what he believes. He doesn't act like he's the smartest man in the room. He just that's his. That's his, and that he gets the final say. This is what we're gonna roll with, and that's it. And like, there's no discussion. If we win, this is how we're gonna win it. But if we lose, I'll fall on the sword because this is my lap and nobody else's.
This leads to my next question, Pat. Before we actually get into the second question, Rob Thompson, I think, has done a good job in Philly in 2 years. Is there talk in the media and the fan base that maybe this isn't the guy to lead us to the World Series?
And
Rob Thompson.
so it's funny you bring this up. So me and my co-host Al Safiri, we did a post-game show, and right away here in Philly, if it ain't the star player, it's the head coach that needs to go. And usually 9 times out of 10, the guinea pig is the coach. So right away we got fire Thompson, fire this, and it's just like, and I get it, we're overreacting. I get it. A lot of people are frustrated, but pump your brakes. I mean, people have short-term memory here in Philly, where they forget who the guy was prior to a Joe Girardi that was getting this team to nowhere. They forget that Ron Thompson took a team that was, I think, I want to say almost 17 games or 12 to 17, somewhere in that range. The team was out of it last year. And he drove that team back in mid June from that to the World Series. So that is an accomplishment. Um, you have again this year. You took a red hot, hungry Arizona team that, like I said, went to Milwaukee, knocked down their door to LA, and you gave this young team the best fight you've gotten. So I got to give Rob Thompson his due. I'm not ready to move on from the guy. I mean, he's done to me. He's proven enough that he is a winnable manager. He knows his lineups. He knows what he's looking for. Just when people have doubts in him, this team wins, 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 and that's all you can ask for.
Absolutely. And besides Thompson, is there anybody on the coaching staff, like the hitting coach, pitching coach, you think they could change up in the offseason? Or do you feel the coaching staff will remain pretty well the same going into 2024?
I think the whole coaching staff alone, the coaching, the pitching staff, are not going to go anywhere. I think that's going to be your roster for 2024 moving forward.
All right, Pat, what is the overall mood right now in Philadelphia right now with the Phillies after their Game 7 lost at home to Arizona, both by the media and fan base? And I know it's been about a week now.
You know what? It's I you know I don't know. Maybe I can't speak for everyone, but it seems like the mood is, like I said, everyone had high hopes. No pun intended to the great uh,
Harry Callis.
Harry Callis, excuse me. Well, Harry Callis, no pun intended. But yeah, I think everyone had this team going back to the series and possibly winning it. And now that you were a step short, I don't know if there's any fan now that I don't think they want to go back to a darker time right now. I think every team is just focused on the Eagles, trying to move forward. But I mean, it's a little upset. I think the media and the fans are a little disappointing and upset at the same time because they were looking for so much more, and they this team was looking for a parade, and I think a lot of fans feel like this is the team that was going to lead Philadelphia to a parade, and unfortunately, no, unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Hey, and Pat, it just shows you how hard it is to win a championship in any sport. And being a Tigers fan, the Tigers are one of the oldest franchises in Major League Baseball. I think behind the Phillies and maybe the Cubs, and the Tigers only have a 4 World Series in 125 years, and the Phillies only have two, and the Cubs have only had two or three. It just shows you how hard it is to win a championship, especially in Major League Baseball.
It is hard. It's hard to win a championship. Again, the Phillies now haven't seen a championship in 14 to 15 years. They only made the postseason only 16 times. Um, like I said, it is hurt that when you look at when you really think of Philadelphia baseball, you have more losing seasons than you did winning seasons. And look, I'm grateful for the Mike Schmidts. Just I was just a little guy when he was around. The Darren Daltons, the Ryan Howards, the Jimmy Rollins, the Chase Utleys, the Cole Hamels, God rest his soul, Roy Holidays that came through here, the Cliff Lees, and all that stuff. And now looking at Bryce Harper to be one of those guys to, again, we kind of rely on to try and get us over that hump. And like I said, just this team was just not good enough to get over right now.
Absolutely. And this leads to my next question, Pat. In terms of postseason disappointments in Philadelphia pro sports, where would you rate this National League Championship Series loss to Arizona right now in your top five?
Woo! Woo! Great question. Uh, man, where do I rank it now? Man, God, you hit me with a curveball on that one because I mean, there's been so many bad disappointing. There's uh, if I run down real fast, my top five losing ones, of course, I go back to 2010, the Philadelphia Flyers falling short to the Chicago Blackhawks. Again, another one where I was in Disney World with my wife. We were just getting together at the time, and I happened to walk around Disney World. This is our first time down there, and I saw a lot of Blackhawk jerseys walking around. I said, I called my sister, and God Russell, I called her. I said, Francis, I said, I haven't caught up with any of the Flyers and Blackhawks series. I'm kind of Disney. I said, what Flyers lose the series? She goes, yeah, unfortunately they did. And I said, I threw up my phone. So I have that. I have back to '04, the Eagles losing to the Patriots. That's a stinger. That one really bothers me. Um, of course, you had the '93 World Series. Uh, Phillies and Blue Jays can never
30 years,
forget.
30 years ago.
Listen, when you're only 7 years old, playing your action figures in front of the TV, and you see your remote go by you into this TV screen, and your dad going to every closet door, your front door, garage door, and start punching holes in them, punching them, and that's how man. Because he was so heated with that Joe Carter home run from Wild thing. My dad was screaming, "No!" I mean, he must have broke everything in the house. I mean, my dad went on a rampage after that one. So that's got to be number three for me. Um, like I said, there's just been so many disappointing ones. Of course, obviously this that's the last one, and of course I got to go with the 76ers not getting over the hump always falling short in Game 7, getting their doors blown off this past Mother's Day. I had the honors with doing a co-host with Sean Bernard, who does a great job with us, and he does a great job covering for Fox Gambler. Also, Dives and Alice. If you like, we did a post-game show, a lot of interviewer, and again, heartbreaking because the team didn't show up, and to lose to the Boston Celtics is heartbreaking. When you lose to a team that's it's when you lose to an Allen Market team that's like, okay, you kind of take it because, like I said, you listen to this Diamondbacks team, like you look at it like they were the better team because they played a little bit more hungry than we did. But you lose to a rival, you have to take that on the chin. Yeah, it kind of infuriates you more than others.
Well, you know what? Right now, at least the Phillies and the Eagles are getting to championships. The Phillies have obviously won
Yes.
in '08, the Eagles in 2017. But next time I have you come on, we need to talk about the Flyers and the Sixers because the Flyers haven't won
Yes.
Stanley Cup since their 74-75 back to back, and they've had some great teams since then. And the Sixers haven't won since '83 and haven't been to the final since 2001 and have had some really good teams as well. So right now in Philadelphia, there should be heat on the Sixers and the Flyers to get back to their winning ways because the Phillies and the Eagles right now and the Philadelphia Union, even though I'm not a soccer fan, have been very competitive for Philly sports the last decade.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we have going on, the whole landscape is the three teams you just mentioned. Again, it's hurtful because last year in 22 we had three pro teams that fell
Oh,
short within 100 days. So again, if you're looking for a contender horse in Philadelphia, it's the Phillies, the Eagles, and the Philadelphia Union. Philadelphia Union just took their game one of like this. It's a whole new format that's going to MLS now. They're making
okay.
things a series that's going to run into the winter. I think it's the worst idea ever. But again, that's for another time. But like I said, we've got three top teams right now that are kind of leading that horse. The Flyers are at least now Danny Barrera and Keith Jones, the two guys who run this team are telling you this is going to be a whole rebuild. There's a direction with this team that they drafted a kid that's probably not going to be here for 2 to 3 years. And that's when they're looking to turn things around. They got a young core out there. We're going to go through a lot of growing pains. So they said sit tight, but if this team turns out to be a contender by February, we'll let you know if we're going to be buyers or sellers. And that's going to be, to me, the telltale of this whole situation with the Flyers. At least I'm being more patient with the Flyers. If they if they show like they've been showing signs now. Again, this is October. Flyers play their best hockey in October. When November comes rolling around, yeah, that they slide on down. But like I said, there's more of a patience approach with the Flyers. They have a direction. Like I said, the two guys run the franchise. Like I said, it's a whole new regime. They're getting things ready. With the 76ers, I think like a lot of fan base have thrown their hands up in the air. They've for the past 4 or 5 years have yet to get past the second round. They tanked 4 years prior to that. So you pretty much wasted a decade of where you're at now is just getting to the second round and losing to the Celtics. So I think a lot of Philadelphia fans are fed up. They don't like the fact that James Harden's still part of this team. They don't, again, there's a lot of if you look at this, if you're look at, go to your kid's room, you see a whole mess. That's what the Sixers look like. There's a lot of mess. Granted, they've got this kid now, Kelly Oubre Jr. from the Charlotte Hornets that they picked up, and it looks like he's been a little bit of a bright spot from from the two games that we got from Nick Nurse. His coaching staff looks a lot different from his playbook to Doc Rivers' playbook. Absolutely looks great. Now, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey look like a 1-2 punch. Embiid taking care of business underneath the net, and Maxey playing shooting lights out from the perimeter. They look like they have a good chemistry going on. I do not, and I said this in the previous podcast, I do not want James Harden nowhere near the Wells Fargo Center. And yesterday they showed him the home opener. There he was sitting on the sidelines in a green hoodie. He looked like the Grinch who stole the Sixers bank account. He came here and just robbed it, and turned out to be for nothing. And granted, yes, last year he led the regular season in assists, But again, two guys was a no-show. Was him and Embiid come playoff time, and it's very disappointing. Again, him and Daryl Morley having words and having a ugly, ugly front office battle that we do not need here in Philadelphia. So yeah, I just feel like a lot of Philadelphia fans are ready just to move on from the Embiid, move on from James Harden. A lot of fans are just that's just had enough. I'll say.
And in Philadelphia, they don't mind if you make a lot of money, but they expect you to want to be there and to work hard. And to me, James Harden, in my opinion, is a cancer to the locker room and to that
Oh
franchise. And I think they would be better off moving from him if they can do it.
yeah, listen. They're just gonna have to again take whatever buyer wants them, get the best for their the bang for their buck. And I know they hurt some years and they didn't like what they got in return, but this is an agent James Harden. So James Harden obviously made a again him and Darren Morley, one calling the other one a liar, the whole situation. But uh, if I'm James Harden, I'm gonna you're gonna have to earn your respect into this locker room again. You're gonna have to again play like a leader and really just be that veteran player that everyone expects you to be, and just play your like you're looking to get traded. So in order to do that, you got to play your best basketball and show you have something left. And I feel like a lot of teams, and state this, and like I said in the previous podcast, like I feel like a lot of teams are that are contenders now don't want them, and I feel like a lot of teams that are rebuilding don't want his attitude or whatever in that locker room. So the Sixers are stuck in this canoe with them, and they can't get no one or they can't get the deal they want with him. So now they are stuck with him. So James Harden has to show something for it.
Now, at Philadelphia, Jeffrey Lowry owns the Eagles. John Middleton owns the Phillies. Who owns the Sixers and the Flyers? Is it Comcast?
So Josh Harris owns the 76ers,
Okay.
so my man, that guy's playing Monopoly. He owns the Jersey Devils. He's part owners with the Washington Commanders. So he's all over the place. And then yes, to answer your question, Comcast does have their hands on the Flyers. So yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I'm there, and they owned the Flyers, and the same owners the Flyers own the Philadelphia Wings. So yeah, because like I said, I've been there during Wings games, and they looked for a couple people to not just cover Wings, but to cover make a day out of it, cover the Wings and Flyers as well.
In your opinion, who's the best owner in a sports team in Philadelphia right now? Is it Jeffrey Lowry for the Eagles or John Middleton for the Phillies?
Ooh, good question. I it's right now. I gotta give Jeffrey. I see. It's tough, but I want to say Jeffrey Lurie because Jeffrey Lurie's in the locker room. Jeffrey Lurie again. Him and the team of him and Harry Roseman has been really, really good. Again, 5 years, winning a Super Bowl, making an appearance to a Super Bowl. You had the Kansas City Chiefs on the ropes. They get Jeffrey Lurie to me does a lot in the community. He does a lot of things. He gets out there and mingles with the people. He goes in the locker rooms. He goes into into the parking lots. Like he doesn't care. He wants to be with his fans. And to me, like I said, there's not a guy like him. And like I said, he just got the right general manager in place because I don't know what Jeffrey Lurie or Harry Roseman says over the phones, but that guy, while everyone's sitting there trying to play checkers, this guy's sitting there playing chess. He gets the best. Again, this this guy got the Philadelphia Eagles A.J. Brown from the Tennessee Titans, and to bring to everyone's attention, this guy now just set a record for six consecutive games with 125 plus more receiving yards. That's unheard of. Unheard of.
That was one of my later questions, but since he brought up his name, and I'm gonna say this, I know Harold Carmichael, Mike Quick, they've had a lot of great receivers, but is AJ Brown? I know it's early. Is he possibly the most talented receiver in Eagles history? And is this one of the best trades in Philadelphia Eagles football history? Getting
Oh,
AJ
definitely.
Brown.
Again, he's having a remarkable year. It's so funny. So I want to say since week two, yeah, since week two, he was not happy. I'm only trying to read lips through the TV screen, but he had a little sideline talk with Jalen Hurts, and he looked like he was not happy, not getting enough touches, and not get. I don't like I said, I don't know if it's the Brian Johnson play designs. I don't know what it was, but since then, he's been on a tear. He's been catching the deep ball. He's been fighting off the one-on-one battles. He's been, bullying people, and like I said, he's got height, he's got speed, and he's a dangerous combination out there. If like I said, that's one thing about the Philadelphia Eagles that they do is they know how to find themselves wideouts. I mean, we've seen the Adrian now getting Adrian Brown. We've seen the Sean Jacksons of the world. You can go back to again getting Terrell Owens in there for a year.
Yes.
Um, and, you got the Aaron Carmichaels again. You've had a nice, decent receiving core at times. Jeremy Macklin and all those
Yes.
other guys. Some playmakers. So like you said, one of the most talented receivers I've seen so far, and he could be if not the best, definitely can wind up being top three best wideout for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I also got to ask you this too. Do you feel Dallas Goddard is getting involved in this offense enough? Because I think he's still one of the better tight ends in the National Football League. And Devontae Smith, he had a good game against Washington, 7 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown. Do you feel the offense is now more geared to Brown? Like, obviously, AJ's their number one receiver, but I feel that it's important to get Smith involved as well as Goddard and DeAndre Swift. I still think he's a really good running back. I'm not saying he's elite, but I think he should get the ball a little bit more. What are your thoughts on the Eagles' offensive approach this year?
So again, big difference between Shane Steichen and Brian Johnson. Uh, and there's been some questionable, I've been scratched from my head about the Brian Johnson playbook as well, because Brian Johnson to me, he sometimes runs the same formations. Going back to his previous game against the Washington Commanders, where it looked like again I saw a lot of passing, and I was like, when are we gonna start? And I get it, you're afraid to go against that tough Commanders Washington, defense, run defense, but I'm like, let's mix it up a little bit. Let's get DeAndre Swift. Let's get him what he's known for, the East and West, North and South running. Let's get that going. Let's create some holes. Let's get him start pounding up the middle. Let's do something for that guy again. So like I said, the play calling has been a little bit head scratcher for me. Again, you get Goddard here and there involved. You get Devontae Smith, like you just mentioned. Both those guys are not getting his ball. I get it. The AJ Brown is his security blanket, and he's getting a lot of the looks. But so you're constantly going to go to him. He's making big time plays. But yeah, it's to me it's extremely important to spread the love around a little bit more. To try and get those guys more involved. Like I said, sometimes I'll see Dallas Goedert maybe get a total targets maybe 7 to 8, and that's it. And if he drops it, that cuts it down a little bit more. Same thing with Devontae Smith. I'm surprised Dante, he hasn't, uh, Jalen Hurts wasn't being able to find uh, Devontae Smith down the field more. Now maybe they're putting more double coverages on him, and that's kind of scaring teams because they know that kid can leave you in a dust and in a hiccup. So that's why maybe AJ Brown's getting that more looks. But now this makes it more and more difficult for defenses because now you got two playmakers off the top that can really do something. And if you really need to, maybe cross routes, maybe some wheel routes, you get some Dallas Goddard involved. Get him moving. So yeah, like I said, definitely have to get those guys more involved in the playbook.
Thoughts on Julio Jones, the addition of him, Kevin Byard from the Titans, and also what happened to Rashad Penny, who they signed from the Seattle Seahawks for their backfield?
Who? I mean, is he part of this team? I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know if he was in a swoop mascot uniform. I didn't know. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, yeah, that's kind of like, Sean Penny is not getting much. They're going back to Kenny Gainwell again and trying to get him involved in the playbook.
He's
So
regressed this year. Gainwell to
yeah,
me has regressed.
so again, the fumble at the goal line is head scratching to me. So I don't know. I mean, that's I guess I imagine if the Eagles are if they're the trade deadline is going to be coming up soon. I imagine they're going to have to dress for a running back at this point, or they're going to look for that or a defensive tackle somewhere. They're going to get one or the other. I mean, to me, I mean they need to get busy with a running back because I you're other than DeAndre Swift, you're really not moving the rock like you should be, or you don't have that second feature running back like you're hoping for. So I don't know. That's scary. Some.
And hurts his knee too, which I don't think is going to be 100% for a while. So he's going to be limited too. So, is there any chance they could maybe get Derrick Henry, or do you feel the front four is more of an issue? And what's the latest on Jalen Carter, his injury from the game on Sunday? Have they
Um,
updated you guys on that yet? The media?
I uh I haven't heard anything yet. I'm pretty sure they've gotten word, but I'm going to do some more research on that, see if they heard
Okay.
anything. Um, but as far as Jalen Hurts said, he told the commentators he doesn't have, and the leg seems fine, but he doesn't seem like the again. He seems like he has leg issues. Granted, if he needs to scram out of the pocket, he's going to scram out of the pocket and he'll make some plays. Um, but yeah, I mean, for him to play, pocket passer or something he's not used to doing. He's usually used to making plays with his legs as well. Um, he's done so far so good. Again, you're not playing against the top tier teams. You haven't really played against that that kind of caliber team yet. But don't worry, you're going to get that Sunday against the Cowboys. And I'm not a Cowboys fan by any stretch, but that team's sitting at 5-2 and 5-2 for a reason. So they're getting ready to face the Eagles here. Eagles, on 425. But yeah, to go back to your question, yeah, I don't think it's so much the O line that's the problem for the Birds. I just think it's again I don't I just want to say it's more the play calling and the situations to put Jan Hurts in and all those other tangibles. I don't think the play calling is great. Again, this is two new coordinators. You got a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator, and and I got to keep it honest. I mean, I felt like Eric Bieniemy and Sam Howell uh, came in, with the eye of the tiger, and they kind of were thumping the Birds a little bit, and they were stretching and being up on that Eagle secondary. Quick releases over the middle, down the sidelines, and whatever you needed. I mean, Terry McLaurin gets that, starts to open the drive with a TD. Um, they went up 14-3. I was like, whoa, we got to pump the brakes here. Where's the timeout? Where's the adjustments at? Because they're exploring over the middle with the Eagles, and that kind of scared me a little bit.
And what I would be worried about is if you had a team that was even better offensively than Washington, the Eagles might not have gotten back into that game. And one thing too I've noticed about the Eagles this year is obviously it hurts his ball security. He's fumbled a number of times, throwing some interceptions. That happens, but to turn the ball over twice at the Washington 3-yard line, once you could probably get away with it in a game, but usually if you do that twice or more in a game, you generally are not going to win. So for me, one of the keys to the game against Dallas on Sunday is they need to play a clean football game offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. You're offensively, you need to step up. I mean, you can't have a hiccup anywhere, because with this Cowboys team, they know how to generate points, and I know a lot of people like to poop on Dak Prescott and so forth. But the guy can play ball, and he knows how to locate players and all that other stuff, and he's dangerous to deal with. And he's going to sit there. One thing I gotta get, he's a terrific pocket passer, and he, like I said, one little hiccup again, like you said, you get a tangible team, and I gotta give my broadcast partner Mike Lauer credit. He's like the two teams are going to be the most dangerous teams in the NFC are going to be the Birds and the Boys. It's going to be a 1-1A right there, and he so far he's been right. I mean, They blew the doors off the Rams. Like, granted, the Rams ain't the same Rams, but still, you're 5-2 and you're 5-2 for a reason, and they're looking to put the Eagles at 7-2, and they're looking to climb up. So you got, like I said, a lot of intangibles going on for the Cowboys. So again, they're riding high right now. They're looking to come into Philly and to thump the birds. And like this is going to be the first time it's going to be Prescott versus Hurts.
Any concerns about the Eagles secondary, especially going against Dallas on Sunday?
Oh, absolutely. I would be lying if I wasn't concerned. I'm very concerned at the fact that I'm seeing now Bradbury getting burned. I'm seeing, Ray Blankenship kind of if he didn't have that the one pick, he was
Might
horrible
have been
for
a
the.
different game.
It would have been a different game. And I'm not going to not lie to you. The guy sucked through the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Like so, I'm not going to sit there and say I'm not going to be biting my nails. I'm going to be biting my nails until I know the smoke is clear. And if I'm I'm hoping the Eagles win.
Is Washington's offensive line that good, or is Philadelphia's front four just not as good as it was last year?
I don't think the defense is not as good. Now, Hassan Reddick has been really, really good for the Eagles. I mean,
Yeah,
ever
6.5
since
sacks.
6.5 sacks coming
Sacks
back
this
from
year.
injury. So he's been a bright spot. Again, the front four was looking nasty, but you got to hit you got to somewhere. You only have one sack through this game. Again, you looked very sloppy versus the Jets. It's the showing the side defense. It's scary. It's scary, and not in a good way either. It's scary that the fact that they're not getting to the quarterback. They're only getting a few hits on the quarterback. And if Eric Bieniemy found any kind of antidote to beating the Eagles, it's quick release, quick release, quick release, quick. And like I said, that was coming from a rookie quarterback. Who knows what you're going to get at Dak Prescott? Because
Do you
he's,
feel?
this is good.
I was going to say, do you feel the Cowboys are going to try to use that blueprint, or you think they're going to just stick to what they're good at and not try to do what Washington was successful?
No, I mean, again, Dak knows he knows the Eagles are going to try and play them tough. Again, this is a divisional game. Anything can happen. Again, this is on paper. The Eagles look like they should have blew out the Washington Capitals, and it turned out to be not once but twice this year a dogfight. So again, I don't know what to expect from this Cowboys team. All I know is the Eagles better be on their A game. Because if not, you're going to have to deal with some big time playmakers. Like I said, and leading that horse into victory is one Dak Prescott. And I know people are, how can you talk about Dak Prescott so good? But I mean, I don't lie to my fans out there. The guy's playing good ball right now. And he's been playing.
Yeah.
He's a regular season good quarterback.
And then you got to worry about CD Lamb and Tony Pollard. And to me,
Yes.
Tony Pollard is an X factor in this game, because if they can make Dallas one dimensional, I think that would help the Eagles. But if Dallas can establish a run game and set up the play action for Prescott and those receivers, it could be a long night for the Philly defense. I hope I'm wrong about that.
Yes, that definitely. Like, if you don't show the Eagles, just like, and I'm going to go back a little bit back on this, just like the Arizona Diamondbacks, would know what really helped them out is when they muted in their minds the Philadelphia crowd, muted them, and just focus on the game. The Cowboys don't let like I said, the Phillies fans, everyone knows they're the most, and I'm not trying to, they are I want to say the most passionate people on Facebook as sports fans. So if you can mute them out and focus on the game, and like you said, if you have uh, Tony Pollard just running up the middle or doing what he's been doing, you get, like you said, a CD Lamb stretching the field. It's going to be a long day at the office for the Birds, and I'm hoping it doesn't get out to be sloppy. So
And
I
they,
hope the Birds just bring their A game.
And they have Michael Gallup back, and I think he's fully recovered from his injury as well. So that's another one I have to worry about. So are you going to be at that game Sunday night at the Link? That game should be on Sunday Night Football. No disrespect to the Bills and the Bengals, which I think is a great Sunday night matchup. But I would have moved that game to Monday night and put the Eagles Cowboys on Sunday Night Football.
I don't know if I'll be down there. I'll definitely probably be more likely doing the post game show. But to me, I love the 4 o'clock slot. I love it. That's my favorite time slot. It's dinner. You finish up. You're just getting ready to hit the bed. I'm hoping to go to bed in a happy mood. I don't want to, because I feel like the prime time games, you're up all through the night and so forth. I mean, like I said, I feel like the 4 o'clock games is your perfect time slot. You get to have your dinner. You get to have your game with it. I love it.
I'm trying to figure out which network's covering it. Is it Fox or CBS? I'm hoping it's CBS for some reason because I really like Jim and Tony and Tracy or Wolfson.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it's I like the Romo and Jim combination. So I'm hoping as well. To get that crew. I do not want the Fox B team coming through because sometimes I'd just rather watch it mute than most. So yeah, I do not mind. Like again, as a Birds fan, I do not mind Tony Romo calling the games. So matter of fact, I really enjoy him. Calling for what it was. So yeah, I'm hoping to get that team.
Absolutely. I just got two more quick questions for you. And
Sure.
this one I wanted to ask you. Do you see the president, GM Howie Roseman, making another trade before the deadline? Yes or no? I guess I'm putting
Yes.
you on the spot here. Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it'll be an impact player or kind of a minor depth remove for the roster?
I think with Howie, he's going to make a move. He does not. That's one guy does not sit on his hands, and he'll make a deal with somebody. And I think he'll get the most bang for his buck. I think it's going to be a name player coming into the Eagles.
I wouldn't mind Derrick Henry, but I don't know what they're going to do with him, but it would be nice to get Derrick Henry in there as well. But we'll wait and see. And what's your prediction for the Eagles Cowboys game on Sunday? And what's score? And who do you see being an impact player for the Eagles other than A.J. Brown? Maybe somebody that hasn't been as productive this season that might have a breakout game.
Good question. If anything, I think it's going to be DeAndre Swift who can have an outbreak game. He's due for one. I think the run game is due definitely to get off, and I think DeAndre Swift is definitely due to have a big time game. He's usually good in prime time games, so I definitely think he's going to have a big impact game for what it is. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. 425 is Fox, by the way.
Okay.
So yeah, I think he's going to be definitely a big part of it. My prediction of the game. It's so weird because I don't know what Eagles team is going to show. We're going to get the grinding out Eagles team, or we're going to get an explosive one. I think the Eagles. I think the Eagles will win 21-17.
Low scoring. Okay, I'm going to go with the high scoring Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to put 40 on Dallas. I think the Eagles will win 40 to 33. I think it'll 40 to 33. I think Dallas is going to get their points, but I think the Eagles offense, and especially with no Trevion Diggs, Stephon Diggs' brother, he's out for the year. And Steph Gilmore is still a good cornerback, but I don't think he's in his prime. I really think the Eagles are going to score 40 on Dallas, and I think they're going to win by 7 points, being optimistic.
Wow, I like it. I wish I was there, but from what I've seen in recent data, I mean, I can't. I wish I could be there, but I'll still give the Eagles the win, but I think it's going to be a dogfight, and I think it's going to be a 21-17 win Eagles.
And one thing too, the Eagles defense, if they can't sack Prescott, they need to put pressure on him. If they could get 1 or 2 turnovers out of that Dallas offense, either by Prescott or fumble recoveries, I think that'll help the Eagles' chances even more in this game. I think if they can win the battle of the turnovers.
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, that's one thing you cannot afford against this Cowboys team is having turnovers. The Eagles got to stay away from the fumbles. Got to stay away from throwing picks. Stop. No more 3 and outs. I mean, you really have to score on every drive in order to beat the Cowboys.
And before I let you go, there's one
Sure.
player I wanted to mention, and he doesn't get enough credit. I call him Mr. Reliable. Is when the Eagles need a big kick or a long kick, Jake Elliott.
Yes.
And to me, he is in the same category as David Akers was, in my opinion, in his
Absolutely.
short career.
Sure. To me, I'm usually not that guy who's in love with kickers, but however, I cannot say the second most important, offensive big time player so far, or who's bailed this team out in majority of their wins, has been, Jake Elliott. I mean, again, 61-foot kicks and 53-foot yard kicks. He's making them. I mean, he's again. There's been times where the Eagles look like they are on the ropes, and just because of his kicks bails him out every time. So yeah, I gotta give you credit there. Jake Elliott is a definitely he's up there with the David Akers for sure.
One thing about the one call, the fake brotherly push play, I think they should have saved that for Dallas. But you know what? Now that's one more thing Dallas has to worry about as well. And I really feel good about the Eagles' chances on Sunday, and really look forward to the game. And before I let you go, where can my audience follow you on social media and the Edge of Philly Sports website? And just quick thoughts on the Raiders Lions game tonight from Ford Field in Detroit at 8:15.
All right, so your fan. So to the audience listening out there watching, you could catch me on Edge of Philly Sports. You catch me Sunday mornings at PM and AM Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Talking all Philadelphia sports with my man Mike Laro. Matter of fact, I got a Flyers post game show tonight, right after the Philadelphia Flyers game. It's called Clear the Ice. It's the Flyers take on the Hurricanes, so I will be doing reaction to that. You can catch me on Tack and Third, 9 o'clock on Thursday nights as well, talking Philadelphia Union soccer. And of course, you catch me Friday nights, 10 p.m. on our brand new show, The Steel Steps, catching a lot of eyes out there. So for you wrestling fans out there, catch that show. We had maybe people consider the GOAT of professional wrestling now. Give those guys a follow. Hakeem, Joey Woods, and my guy Chris Wilson. Uh, they're doing a phenomenal job. If they, like I said, if they're not writing about wrestling shows, they are out there covering it. Really hard worker with the three of those guys, and they've been doing such a phenomenal job. One John Cena now follows them on Twitter, so that's huge. So again, those guys are really doing a phenomenal job talking wrestling all the time. So it's an honor to be with the Edge of Philly Sports family. We're just a group of guys who are passionate about moving the product forward.
Absolutely, and I cover wrestling here in Ontario too. It's independent wrestling, and I
There
really
you go.
enjoy it. And you know what? These guys, the guys and girls on this local independent wrestling, they're trying to get into AEW, WWE, but you got to start somewhere locally. They're all been
Yes.
great with me for doing live interviews, and I'm totally grateful for it. And people don't realize we could do a wrestling show. Okay, it might be scripted or whatever, but you know what? You have to be athletic, you have to be an actor or an actress, and you have to be a good storyteller. And it's not an easy profession. I have so much
No,
respect for professional wrestlers.
no. For a guy who's done it for 10 years, no, it's not. It's not easy. Again, I went to the King Kong Bunny's wrestling school, and again, you have to be in great shape. And to like as King Kong Bunny told me, I was 250 pounds walking into his school. He said, if you don't lose weight by the end of summer, I'm cutting you off the team. I made sure I went from 250 to 185. Spent the whole entire summer every day running and doing sit-ups and push-ups. So I made sure I did that as a 18-year-old kid. So, but yeah, I got to give, like I said, those pro wrestling guys doing a great job. And by the way, you can also coming up in about November time, starting beginning of December, I will be on with all across all time on 9 o'clock on Sunday nights, giving Philadelphia Wings perspective on things with Gary, Sean, and Mike Muffler Mike.
I will definitely tune in, and then and quick thoughts on the Monday night game, and then I'll let you go. The
Sure.
Raiders and Lions tonight.
I like the lines. I love the lines. I love the underdog story of what this team's has turned around to be. Give me the lines.
I have the Lions winning this game too because they got embarrassed by the Ravens and Dan
Yes.
Campbell. To me, Dan Campbell's a Philly type guy. No nonsense, hardworking, and I think Dan Campbell suits that Detroit Lions franchise in the city of Detroit. So I agree with you. I think the Lions are going to win this game tonight, and I think they're going to win by double digits at Ford Field, which will be very loud.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a bounce back game for the Detroit Lions. Like you said, just getting slapped in the mouth and embarrassed in Baltimore. They're going to come back at home and they're going to be hungry and they're going to be ready to roar.
All right. Well, Pat, I'm going to let you go, but I want to say thank you so much for giving me over an hour of your time for season 6, episode 53, my 328th episode today. Really enjoyed talking to you about the Phillies and Eagles and some other pro sports teams in Philadelphia. And hopefully we'll have you back on again as well in the future.
Sure, man. Thanks for having me on, Chris.
And as always, go Birds, fly Eagles, fly. And I have to say this
Yes.
too. It's Dallas week. Dallas sucks.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much, Pat. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you, bud.
Thanks, Pat. That was Pat Bernard from the Edge of Philly Sports. He's a reporter with them. He's also a podcast host. So check out Edge of Philly Sports, and I have their website on my ticker. I can't really see the print tonight. Might have to get new glasses at some point. But yeah, check out Edge of Philly Sports. Pat's a really good guy, and he covers all the pro sports teams in Philadelphia, including his new show, Behind the Steel Steps, Pro Wrestling. So check that out as well. Before we wrap up tonight's season 6, episode 53, I have a clip from this Saturday in Niagara Falls. I interviewed a young lady from the Greater Niagara Region Humane Society, and her name's Selena. And we're going to put her interview with myself on right now, courtesy of my YouTube channel. This time I'm here at the Outlet Malls of Niagara, and I have a special guest today, and she's from the Greater Niagara Humane Society, and I'm going to bring it now. Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Can I just get your first name and just tell us a little bit about the Greater Niagara Humane Society?
Yeah, so my name is Selena. I'm an animal care technician at the Humane Society of Greater Niagara. We're here today at the local markets at the Outlet Collection Niagara Mall. I'm here to basically answer people's questions about adopting animals. We're here to get donations if people are willing. We're selling a couple of things as well. But mostly I'm here to answer questions if people are interested in animals, if people have questions about animals, if they're getting if they want to get a pet, anything like that. I'm here to answer. And yeah, that's pretty much what we're here. We're here to educate people.
How long have you been with the Humane Society here in the Niagara region? And where's your jurisdiction for the shelter for this whole area?
So I've been an animal care technician with the Humane Society since the beginning of summer, so June. I'm learning a lot. We cover up until Fort Erie, Niagara-on-the-Lake, St. Catharines, up until Welland, and up until Lincoln County. So a really big spot. We cover basically Niagara, actually. Yeah.
Currently, right now, what is the biggest need for the Humane Society here?
We need everything. We need donations of money. We need donations of food. We need people to adopt animals. We are constantly full of animals. People are surrendering animals, we're finding animals, people are dumping animals. We always need stuff like stuff to wash dishes, so dish soap, laundry soap, basically anything people can donate, we'll take it. We even have a community fridge for the local community, so people that are in need of food and they can't afford groceries that week, maybe they can come to our community fridge and pick up anything they need. So if anyone has food donations, we have that as well.
And can you tell us a little bit about your expansion to the building as well?
So we are expanding our building. I'm not sure when, but we are working on it. It's just to accommodate the amount of animals we're getting. I'm not sure what the extensions will be yet, but it's definitely so we can hold more animals because we're seeing a lot. We have a lot of animals.
Do you have a current number of how many cats and dogs and rabbits are down at the Greater Niagara Humane Society?
I would say we probably have about, off the top of my head, at least almost 200 cats, probably about 60 dogs or more. And then rabbits, we have at least 20, either in foster or in our shelter.
And are you guys currently looking for volunteers and fosters? And if anybody out there is listening or watching this and they want to get in touch with you or the shelter, how could they do that?
We are constantly looking for volunteers and fosters. We cannot ever have enough. If you're interested, you can go to the Humane Society of Greater Niagara website, which is hsgn.ca. We have a volunteer tab, and you just apply through there. We need dog walkers, cat socializers, general volunteers, et cetera, et cetera.
And what is a fun fact about the shelter, and what do you enjoy the most working with the Humane Society of Niagara Region with the best?
Fun fact about our shelter is we're like everyone that works there is like a family, so we all get along really well. Even though working there can be very sad at times, it's mostly rewarding and it's always a good time. And my favorite part is petting dogs. Honestly, it's just petting dogs, petting any animal.
Yeah, I was with the Humane Society in Guelph for 10 years, and as much as I was so happy to see the cats and dogs be adopted, I was a little bit hard too, because you start to get attached with the cats and the dogs that are there for a long time. Currently, has there been a dog or a cat that's been at the shelter a long time that's still looking for a good home?
We have a few dogs that have been there for over a year. Cats, we've had a few cats that have been there for months. We constantly do. People tend to look over the dogs that are older. So we have a few more elderly dogs that still have a lot of life left to give. So people should look at those dogs. And then we also have dogs that people don't look at because they look scary, but they're far from it. So I just recommend people get to know the animal before they judge it.
Okay, and what's the shelter's phone number and address in case somebody wants to pop by and check out a cat or a dog or a bunny rabbit or a bird?
So our address is on 4th Avenue, and our phone number is something I probably should know. I will get it in a second.
No worries. No worries. No worries. I really appreciate you doing this today too. Okay, no worries. But and the website as well?
hsgn.ca.
Okay, and how long are you here today at the Outlet Malls of Niagara today for this event?
We are here until 5 p.m.
Okay, well, Selena, I want to say thank you so much for doing this and continued success, and thank you so much. All right, guys, that was Selena from the Humane Society. Technical difficulty there. I apologize. Again, that was Selena from the Humane Society of the Greater Niagara area, and their website is hsgn.ca. That's the Humane Society of Greater Niagara, hsgn.ca. And I want to say thank you so much for Selena for coming on for that live interview. And hopefully you guys can check out their website, or if you're in the Niagara Falls, St. Catharines, Fort Erie, and you're looking for a cat or a dog or a pet, check out the Humane Society of Greater Niagara as well. My next live is CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph, is going to be Wednesday, November 1st at 6 p.m. with John Garkler, the longtime radio play-by-play voice of the five-time National Lacrosse League defending world champion Buffalo Bandits. So I'm looking forward to having John on my show for a second time, and we're going to talk about the world champion Buffalo Bandits season last year, and we're going to preview the 23-24 Bandits team and if he thinks they can repeat as well. The Bandits won championships in 92, 93, 96, 08, and last year in 23. And the Bandits have been a great franchise in the National Lacrosse League for many years. So check out their website, nll.com, the National Lacrosse League.com, or check out bandits.com as well. And it's 40 days right now to the Bandits home opener at the KeyBank Center as well. Also, guys, we have have Monday Night Football on tonight. The Vegas Raiders 3-4 taking on the Detroit Lions 5-2. I really believe the Lions are going to come out and beat the Raiders and by double digits after their embarrassing loss to the Baltimore Ravens last Sunday as well. And I think the Lions are a good team, but once in a while, a team does have a bad game like the Lions did, and I think they'll come out home tonight and they'll beat the Ravens as well. And you got the World Series going on tonight too, Arizona and Arizona, and I forgot who they're playing again. The Texas Rangers, Arizona, Texas. Series is tied 1-1. Arizona rebounded in Game 2 with a 9-1 win. So Game 3, 4 and 5 will be in Arizona. I still think Texas is the stronger team, and I still think the Rangers are going to win this in 7 games. But the Diamondbacks like to shock people, prove people wrong by shocking teams like Milwaukee, the Dodgers, the Phillies. So we'll see what happens as well. So a lot of going on tonight with the National Hockey League, Monday Night Football, the NBA going on, and obviously the World Series going on as well. As always, guys, Live with CDP Sports Talk is a weekly sports and entertainment talk show hosted by yours truly, Chris Palme. Is on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on WQEE 99.1 FM, the key, the home of Southern sports and talk, the heartbeat of Atlanta. Our radio station's website is wqeefm.radio12345.com as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, they call it, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And thank you to everyone watching this live stream today with myself and Pat Bernard from Edge of Philly Sports. And as always, you can check out my digital content and my media work on beacons.ai. That's beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk, again, is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or you can give them a call at 519-824-0210 or email them at info@barrycullen.com. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet, right now it is going on winter time in the next few weeks. And right now is no better time than to get winter tires at Barry Cullen Chevrolet to help you keep you safe on the road. And right now, currently, if you buy a set of 4 winter tires at Barry Cullen Chevrolet, you can get up to $125 in instant rebates, depending on the manufacturer of the tire. And I'm going to be honest with you, winter tires do make a difference in the wintertime as well. And you know what? It's an investment on your vehicle as well, because you save on your car insurance from it. And also it saves the life of your old seasonal tires for 2 or 3 more years as well. So I definitely would look at getting winter tires put on at Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph. They do a great job, by the way. Also, guys, you can follow me on TikTok at Live with CDP. That's at Live with CDP on TikTok, and check out some of my interviews and my digital media video content on there as well. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk. If you're into webinars or podcasting, check out StreamYard.com. Live with CDP Sports Talk, the audio version is available on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, and tuned in. And again, weeknights from 8 to 9 on WQEE 99.1 FM. Finally, you can email me or text Live with CDP Sports Talk at cpalme19@gmail.com, or you can text the show at 519-820-7188 with comments, questions, and suggestions, and any feedback would be greatly appreciated as well. Again, I want to say thank you to my guest tonight, Patrick Bernard from Edge of Philly Sports, for coming on, talking some Philadelphia Phillies, some Philadelphia Eagles. And again, check him out on Edge of Philly Sports. And it was great having him on here tonight as well. And it's Dallas week. Eagles, Cowboys this Sunday, 425 at the Link. I really wish I was going to that game at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. I've seen the Eagles play 4 times in my life, but 3 in Buffalo, once in Green Bay. But I'd love to go to Lincoln Financial Field. And the game that I want to see is this game against Dallas. 5-2 Dallas and 7-1 Philadelphia Sunday at 425 as well. But I guess I want to wish everybody a happy Halloween from Live with CDP Sports Talk. Hope everyone has a great Halloween tomorrow, and I hope you guys can all tune in. Pardon my language. I can speak. I'll do it again. I hope you can all tune in to season 6, episode 54 of Live with CDP Sports Talk this Wednesday night, November 1st at 6 p.m. with John Gerkler, the longtime radio play-by-play voice of the National Lacrosse League's world champion Buffalo Bandits, as we're going to talk some Buffalo Bandits and their championship run last year and preview the upcoming 23-24 National Lacrosse League season that's going to be starting up in 40 days from now as well. I hope everybody has a great evening, and thank you to everyone watching this show on live stream and audio platforms and on WQEE 99.1 FM. And again, Live with CDP is brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph. Have a great night, everybody, and enjoy the sports. And we'll see you here Wednesday night at 6 p.m. with John Gerkler, the voice of the Buffalo Bandits.